Today we will find out if the Chicago White Sox are headed back to the World Series for a second straight year. We've got part 2 of the ALCS with games 5, 6, and if necessary, game 7. So far, it's been really exciting with the Rangers. The series is currently tied at 2. We've had some really fun matchups, some really thrilling results. A walk-off home run by Corey Seager in game 3. And we're hoping to get the job done, make it back to the Fall Classic for a second time in 3 years, with either the Cubs or the Dodgers awaiting. The Cubs lead LA 3-2. We lost the first game 2-1. That was the only game we played in full. We dominated game 2 10-3, lost game 3 on a walk-off, but are back in business with a winning game 4. However, in the game 4 win, Edgar Quero hurt his hip. Obviously, Edgar hasn't had the best season of his career, but he is still one of our most valuable players. And he's been really good so far through 7 postseason games. He's homered twice, hitting nearly 300, OPS just shy of 1,000. So we are really going to miss him in the lineup for the rest of the series against the Rangers. And if we do win, knock on wood, and make it to the World Series, he'd probably be healthy at some point, but most likely not the beginning. So because of that, we're going to have to dig a little bit deeper on the bench. We're going to need more from Daniel Schneemann. We're going to play Braden Montgomery more. We're going to play Mike Trout more. And then in terms of the pitching, Drew Thorpe will get the start in Game 5. Noah Schultz will get the ball in Game 6, regardless of the Game 5 result. And then Game 7 will be Luis Medina. We've got Spencer Schwellenbach available to use out of the bullpen at pretty much any point during the series. So he'll be kind of our secret weapon in a sense. We haven't used him since game 1, so he will be very much available for when we need him. I think ideally I would like to save him for either game 7 or if we do make it to the World Series. But if we need him early in game 5 or 6, say Drew Thorpe is struggling, we might throw him out there. And then we're not going to need critical situations for the rest of the season because we'll be playing the remainder of the ALCS in full today. And if we make it to the World Series, we're going to play every World Series game in its entirety. So here we go. Game 5 in Texas. The first of hopefully only 2 games today, but we might end up going through all 3. We do know that the series will end in Chicago. This will be the final game in Texas. Game 6 will be at our place, and if necessary, so will Game 7. Spencer Strider and Drew Thorpe warming up in the bullpens. For Drew Thorpe, this will be just his second career postseason start. Remember, he wasn't healthy last year, and then in Season 5, we used him as a reliever. There's a look at both lineups, and here's a look at Spencer Strider, the veteran who's bounced around with the Braves, the Mariners, and now the Rangers. They have not used him yet this postseason. He had a solid regular season, though. 3.82 ERA, 1.22 whip. Randy Arozarena gets us started. He's ahead in the count, 3-1, and Arozarena draws a walk. With the injury to Edgar Quero, everybody's just going to have to step up that much more. Randy's had a good postseason. Obviously, Kyle Teel has been fantastic as the count is full, and he also draws a walk. That's a good take. I know he wanted to swing at it, given how well he's played so far this postseason. We've got 2 on with nobody out as Shane Schmidt hits this ball high and deep into right center. Gerard at the wall makes the catch. We are going to move Arozarena up to third, so we have a run 90 feet away from home. But there's also the possibility for a double play. Brian Ramos pops it into right. Will that be enough to tag the runner? It's caught by Benson. We're going to send to Arozarena. The throw to the plate. It is in time! Will Benson doubles him up. And the White Sox, who start the inning with a pair of walks, do not end up scoring. What a throw by Benson. Pinpoint, perfect accuracy to the plate as the White Sox are held off the board here in the top of the first. We'll go bottom half. We'll take a look at Drew Thorpe. Again, just his second career postseason start. He got the ball back in Game 3 against the Tigers. And he really didn't pitch all that well, but we did end up winning the game. Did strike out 8, though, so there certainly is something there. And he went nearly 6 innings before it kind of unraveled towards the end. We'll start with Wyatt Langford. The Rangers extremely dangerous at the top as Langford sends it into center field for a leadoff single. And the Rangers don't just have a base runner, but one of their fastest base runners aboard to start the inning as they look to set the tone here in Game 5. With 1 away, it is Corey Seager. Only hitting .205, but hitting for good power. Runner goes for second. He's safe. So Langford finds himself in scoring position with only 1 away, and the Rangers have a great opportunity to bring him in. Two gone now for Travis Bazzana with the runner at third. Bazzana grounds it to Smith with the backhanded scoop. The throw to first is in time. And the White Sox were able to get out of the inning, not allowing Langford to score as we move into the second. Justin Crawford has been an automatic out this postseason. I feel like he's due for a big hit, and it's not here as he chases the curveball in the dirt for the second out of the frame. That'll bring up Demon Schneemann. He also hasn't been very good this postseason. His average even lower than Crawford's. 1-2. Got him looking on the fastball. Schneemann now just 1 for 10. Good start for Strider. He allowed the 2 early walks, but no further damage after that. Still scoreless going into the bottom of the second. We'll see if the Rangers will be the ones who strike first, as it's Will Benson, who's ahead in the count 3-1. Benson had the big out defensively in the top of the first as he draws a walk. And much like the bottom half of the first inning, the Rangers start this frame with a leadoff runner. Josh Naylor, 1-1. This one is hit into center. Crawford, it's going to be close. He will not make the play. Benson is going to stay at second. But now the Rangers have 2 runners on base, nobody out. We'll see if the bottom of the order can do some damage for Texas and get them rolling. Sebastian Walcott is up, breakout year, 30 home runs. Hasn't been great so far in the postseason, though, hitting below the Mendoza line at 184. 1-2. This one is hit well into center. Crawford chases after it. One hops off the wall. The Rangers are on the board, 1-0. Naylor holds, but it's an RBI double for Sebastian Walcott. So Texas is on the board, and they've got a great chance to do more because they have 2 runners in scoring position with nobody out. A prime opportunity for the Rangers to add to the lead. Cam Collier now up for Texas, the big third baseman. Behind 1-2. Collier swings at a pitch he should not have. This one might drop, and it does. Naylor will look to score. Crawford's throw is well off the mark. A 67-mile-an-hour single as it's 2-0 with runners on the corners and still nobody out. Corey Lee, the former White Sox, started the series as our original catcher, him and Matt Dace. 3-2. This one is hit into right. Should finally get the first out of the inning as Braden Montgomery makes the play. That should be enough to tag up the runner. That's Walcott. Slides in safely, and Texas adds to the lead. It's 3-0. Drew Thorpe's first trip down the lineup has not been a very good one. And since this is Game 5, best of 3, we're going to be ultra aggressive. We do not want to fall short to these guys. We do not want to have to go right back to another offseason, back to the drawing board again. So sometimes we got to be a little aggressive, and we're going to bring Schwellenbach out of the bullpen. This does limit our pitching flexibility in terms of what we can do in Game 6 and, if necessary, a Game 7. But we have to get to that Game 7 first, and I think having Schwellenbach in the game will allow for that. Collier swipes second, so that will take out the threat of a double play. Gives the Rangers a little more wiggle room, and a base hit probably scores him. Langford swinging a miss on the fastball. Good pitch by Schwellenbach. That'll bring up Robbie Girard. Count is even, 2-2 for the talented center fielder as he strikes out as well in the splitter. So Schwellenbach strikes out a couple of guys, but obviously not a great inning. Drew Thorpe allows 3, and the Rangers are up early. Sox looking to get going here in the top of the third as Barney Wagner goes down on the fastball. Third punch out of the game for Strider. 2 away, back to the top of the order with Randy Arozarena as this one is hit high and pretty deep in right field. Will Benson chasing after, at the track, at the wall, it's gone! Solo shot for Randy Arozarena, his third of the postseason, the first hit of the game for the White Sox, and so we're on the board. We're trying to make this a little interesting. We've got to cut into this deficit, and we bring the lead within 2. Good swing by Randy, sending it into the opposite field to get Chicago back sort of within striking distance. Kyle Teal is now up, the 1-1. Teal sends it back up the middle. Nice scoop by Walcott. Throw to first is in time, but not before the White Sox get on the board with a solo homer by Randy Arozarena. Still trailing by 2, though. There's still a lot of work to do as we move into the bottom of the third. 3, 4, 5 hitters due up. We'll start with Corey Seager, the 2-2. This one is going to be sent into center field. The shift proves to really work out for Seager as he starts the inning with a leadoff single, and the Rangers are really hitting the ball well as a team early in this game. That'll bring up Travis Bazzana, who has killed us year in and year out with Cleveland. Now with the Rangers, he gets a hold of this ball into right center. The White Sox can only watch it fly. That one is gone. 403 feet for Bazana, his 5th home run of the postseason. And the Rangers add to the lead. It's 5-1. Doesn't matter if it's Thorpe or it's Schwellenbach. The Rangers are smacking it. Benson now gets this one to the track, all the way to the wall, and it's caught. Maybe a foot or two away from getting out. Would have been back-to-back, but BMO, luckily, is under it. One away now for Josh Naylor. The Rangers up by 4. Their offense is clearly alive and well, as that one is singled into right center field. Another base runner for Texas. They're stacking them early, and they're taking advantage of the guys that they're getting on base. They're doing a good job of delivering when they've got guys on. Cam Collier now with 2 away. Got on, drove in a run, scored last time, but he goes down on the slider. So Schwellenbach gets out of it, but not before the Rangers add 2 more with Travis Bazana, the former #1 pick from down under, making it 5-1 as Schmidt rips it into right. Benson makes the catch, running into the wall for the first out of the inning. Brian Ramos now, he gets a hold of this, baby. That ball is launched into left, and it is gone. 431 for Ramos. He was due for a hit. He's been struggling here in the postseason, but he gets a hold of that one. His first home run of the postseason run, and that'll make it 5-2. So again, we're trying to keep this game within striking distance. We don't want the Rangers to build too big of a buffer for it to be impossible for us to come back. So it's 5-2. A lot of home runs so far in this game. Crawford with 2 away pops it up into the shallow outfield. Langford under it. He will make the catch. Another inning and another homer for Chicago. This time it's Brian Ramos. 5-2 as we move into the bottom of the 4th. Schwellenbach faces off against Corey Lee, hitting .310 this postseason, and he's not done. Sends it into the corner in left field. Arozarena after it quickly. A leadoff double for Lee. I think part of the reason why the Rangers offense has been successful these last few innings is that they're getting guys on early. The leadoff man, the second guy, they're the ones making the plays. Langford into left at the corner. It is fair and off the wall. Lee around third, heads to the plate, and he is out of there. Arozarena gets to it quickly. He finds Barney Wagner, the cutoff man, who sends it to the plate for the first out of the inning. 2 away now for Corey Seager. 3-1, draws a walk. Another base runner for Texas. They just keep on stacking them. And it's Bazana, who homered last time. He can really make this game ugly with a big swing here. He's behind 1-2, however, and he swings at a splitter in the dirt. Teal's throw to first is offline, and the inning continues. I thought we had him. But now the bases are loaded. It's going to be ruled as a wild pitch. I think it should be an error. That was a bad throw. Will Benson grounds it to first. Schmidt picks it up, tags the base. So the Rangers in that inning got 4 base runners and 2 extra base hits, yet they didn't score. That is a miracle. Credit to Schwellenbach for getting us out of the jam as it remains 5-2. The Rangers have 9 hits and we have 2. The base runner disparity is not sustainable. We've got to get guys on. Our only hits so far are home runs. Until now, Barney Wagner singles into left. That was a good segue. I didn't even mean to do that. But it is a single with 2 outs for Barney Wagner, our first actual base runner since the first inning. That's a good take by Arozarena. You know he wanted to swing. A walk and a homer today for Randy. He's one of the only guys on offense who's shown up, as he has a nice count here. 3-1. Arozarena hits it into right. That is a fair ball. His 3rd time on base. Going to be close with Wagner. We're going to hold him at 3rd. I want to guarantee that Kyle Teal gets an opportunity, and I think he would have been out. So we get Teal up, who's arguably our best player, one of the all-time great postseason hitters. He gets an opportunity with 2 guys on, and this feels like a pivotal at-bat at the point of this game, at the point of this series, given that we're down by 3. He's the tying run. You know, big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games and big-time moments, and this is a huge opportunity for Kyle Teal. Swinging a miss on the slider from Strider, and the count is even 2-2. Kyle Teal, what you got for me? Show the world why you're our superstar. That ball is crushed all the way into right center. Over the bullpen. 459. We're tied at 5. Kyle Teal changes the complexion of the game and the series with one swing of the bat. His 5th and certainly his biggest home run of the postseason. Maybe the second biggest because of Game 3 in the 11th inning against Detroit. But the second biggest home run of the postseason. We're tied, and we're not done. Shane Schmidt singles into left. That's 4 base runners in a row. That's 4 hits in a row. We only had 2 hits the entire game before the 2-out single by Wagner that started the rally. To be honest, I'm a little surprised they didn't take Strider out after the homer. He let up 3 straight runners. He had allowed 5 runs total. I feel like they should have just yanked him there. But he lets up the single to Schmidt, and he'll be replaced by Kevin Kelly, who has not allowed an earned run so far this postseason. Batters are hitting just 111 against him in nearly 6 innings of work. The White Sox now have an opportunity to take the lead. And it's Ramos, who homered earlier in the game. 1-2, swing and a miss on the sweeper. That'll end the top of the 5th. Not a bad inning. Sox get 3. Kyle Teal, a 2-out, 2-strike, 3-run shot off of Strider to tie the game, giving the White Sox some new energy in this game and in this series. So Walcott is up here in the bottom of the 5th. We're going to roll with Schwellenbach. I know he's been a little rocky, but he did a great job in that 4th inning to get us out of it. He did also allow 3 of the 4 base runners, so I guess he doesn't really deserve full credit because he's the one who got us in the predicament to begin with. As Walcott strikes out, here's Cam Collier, the 2-2. And Collier gets a hold of this one into right center. The pendulum keeps swinging. Now into favor of the Rangers. 434. Second home run of the playoffs for Collier. Texas gets their lead back as it's now 6-5. What an exciting game this has been. The momentum going back and forth every which way. So now Texas is up, and we're not going to make the same mistake that they did with Strider. We're going to yank Spencer Schwellenbach out now. He lets up 3 runs in 3 1/3 innings, and he'll be replaced by Johnny Brito, who's been good this postseason. He's only let up 1 run in 6 innings. Against Corey Lee, he pops it up. That one looks like it's teetering between fair and foul. Doesn't really matter because Schmidt makes the catch anyway. But Collier puts the Rangers back ahead with a solo homer. And the unfortunate thing for Schwellenbach is that he threw almost 80 pitches today. We're not going to have him available most likely the rest of the series. So again, that limits the amount of flexibility we have with our pitching management over the next few games. As Schneemann strikes out, quick 6th inning for Kevin Kelly. We'll move to the bottom half. We're going to roll with Brito. He only had to face off against 1 batter, so he's still feeling pretty energized. Against Seager, this one on the ground to short. Barney Wagner makes the play. Throw to first is in time. An uneventful 6th inning both ways as Kelly and Brito each retired the side. And we will move into the 7th. The White Sox trailing by 1. We would love to win this game. Go back home only needing 1 of 2. As Tanner Scott is in for the Rangers. He didn't have a great regular season. His ERA in the 4s. But in this postseason, he's been close to unhittable. He's only allowed 1 run in 9 2/3 innings. We're going to bring Mike Trout in off the bench. Trout with a grounder to third. Collier makes the play. Throw to first is in time. He replaced Braden Montgomery in right, so Trout will now have to play the outfield. We're going to have to see Grandpa run around, try to play defense. Randy Arozarena has been awesome today. That one, though, goes back up the middle. Walcott makes the play. Throw to first in time. And the offense has really cooled down ever since the big homer by Kyle Teal. So with that, we'll stretch, and we'll go to the bottom of the 7th. The Rangers lead it by 1. George Soriano out of the pen for the White Sox. For being our innings eater, it's certainly strange he's only thrown 2 2/3 innings this postseason. And his ERA is in the 10s, although I really don't think he's been that bad. But we certainly want to use him more because he was so good in the regular season. Josh Naylor is up for Texas. Count is even 1-1. Naylor's had a nice game with 2 hits. As that one is low in the dirt. Soriano trying to retire the side quickly. Naylor gets a hold of this one in the left. Arozarena is after it. This ball's actually got a lot of carry, but Randy will make the play. So really not a whole lot of offensive action in either innings 6 or 7. We'll travel into the 8th. The lead sits at 1. Offense, let's get it going here. We need to start a rally. Carlos Hernandez is out of the bullpen for the Rangers. He has an ERA of 2.7 and 6.2 postseason innings. Kyle Teal leads us off. Homered his last time up, and he will not be the one to start the rally here. He goes down looking. On the high outside fastball. Shane Schmidt is now up. Count is full. Base hit his last time up, but only hitting around 220 this postseason. As he draws a walk. Good at bat. I thought about bringing in a pinch runner here because Schmidt obviously is not the fastest. We don't have a ton of options off the bench. We could have brought in a guy like Richie Lindsey, but I decided against it. I think there's a decent shot we will see Schmidt back up again as Ramos hits this ball high and deep into right center. Gerard at the track. It is gone! Brian Ramos! Lightning strikes twice! Second home run of the game. Chicago takes their first lead of the night. 7-6 here in the top of the 8th. Brian Ramos chose a good time to have his best game of the year. I mean, wow, is that a huge swing for us. Ramos is just able to get it over the fence, and now all of a sudden we've got the lead, and we are in the power position to win this game. We haven't been in control at all tonight. The Rangers have outplayed us. They're getting more base runners. I think their pitching has been more efficient, but we have been really impressive with runners on base. The Rangers have been a little shakier over these last couple of innings. So the Rangers are not going to waste any time with Hernandez. They're going to send him out of the game, and they will go back to the bullpen. Texas is empty in the clip. They're using just about everybody, as it's Kevin Ginkel now, 3.86 ERA. If Texas doesn't win this game, I'm a little concerned for them because they're using all these guys. Sure, the day off before Game 6 will be helpful, but these guys might be running out of gas soon. 2 away. Here's Justin Crawford. Flies it into left. Langford under it. Makes the play. But Brian Ramos with a pivotal 2-run homer to put Chicago up 7-6 as we will travel into the bottom of the 8th inning. The White Sox with the lead. Can we hold it? We couldn't hold it in Game 3. We'll see if we end up getting a little luckier this go around. Soriano will stay in the game. Again, he's a guy who can eat innings. We haven't really had him do so this postseason, so he is going to be pretty fresh. Collier, that pitch is in for strike 3. The low fastball gets him at 94. We'll bring up Corey Lee now, the 2-1. He's had a productive day. Sac fly, extra base hit, looking for another. Schneemann, though, looks like he makes the play. Throw to first is in time. 7-6 going into the top of the 9th. The White Sox lead by 1. But as we've seen with this game, the lead has often gone back and forth. So we are not comfortable whatsoever. The Rangers will make another switch, pitching-wise. They literally have used just about everybody today. It's Joel Payamps now in for the Rangers. 7 innings, 2 earned runs allowed by the veteran who we know from the Giants franchise last year. I believe he did win a World Series with us, if I'm not mistaken, as he strikes out Mike Trout on the low slider. Trout, an uneventful game off the bench. And other than the 2 big homers he had against Detroit, he hasn't been very good this postseason. Wagner draws a walk. So we've got an extra runner aboard here with 2 away, and it gets our stars at the top one more chance. Randy's reached base 3 times in this game. The 3-2. Got him looking! So Payamps gets out of it. We'll go bottom 9. It's a 1-run game. The Rangers have 1, 2, and 3 due up. Langford, Gerard, Seager, Bazana is 4th. So we're going to have JoJo Romero come into the game. I want to have the lefty on the mound for us, given that the Rangers got a lot of lefties. After Langford, I think they have 5 in a row. I don't really get why they would put all their lefties consecutively, but okay. So remember, Romero allowed the walk-off home run to Seager in Game 3. So we're certainly hoping to not have a repeat of that. Langford, 1-2. This one into right center. Mike Trout, come on, can you move any faster? This one's got a chance for 3. Langford around second, looking for the triple. And JoJo Romero will have his work cut out for him. One of the fastest men in baseball. The tying run is 90 feet away from home with nobody out. And the strength of the Rangers order. Gerard, broken bat. Smith, bare hand. Throw to first in time! Great defensive play by Cam Smith. The infield, as you can see, playing in so we can go home if needed. With Corey Seager due up, I actually thought about intentionally walking him to get a force out at second base and potentially end it with a double play. I really don't want to face Seager here, but he has Travis Bazana protecting him, and Bazana's the one guy on this team who scares me even more. So because of that, we're going to have to pitch to Corey Seager, who hit the walk-off homer off of JoJo Romero in the bottom of the 10th just days ago in Game 3. Seager, though, is behind 1-2. He's not going to swing at that. That's kind of a wasted pitch. Circle change, not even close. Romero looking to get him something low, something outside. Take advantage of the lefty-on-lefty matchup, and it works! Wow, what a pitch! That slider was not even close, wasn't even in the stratosphere. And now the pathway to winning this game looks a lot clearer. The one problem is that Travis Bazzana is the guy who stands in our way. 6 for 19 in the ALCS. He has 3 homers, including 1 in this game. By far the scariest guy in this lineup. Bazzana hits it into center. Crawford is under it, and the White Sox win Game 5. 6-7 your final score, and now all we have to do is win one of the next 2 games, and we're going to the World Series. It feels like we kind of stole this game away from the Rangers. They were better for most of the game. They had the lead for most of the game, but the big difference is we were more clutch. Kyle Teal, the 3-run homer in the 5th. Brian Ramos, the 2-run homer in the 8th. Those 2 plays won us the game, along with the gutsy pitching in the 9th by Romero after allowing the triple, retiring 3 guys in a row, not letting Wyatt Langford score. Good teams find ways to win games that they have no business winning. And that was the case here. We stole this game from Texas, and now we've got the momentum. We've got the power. We're in the driver's seat, and we only have to win one of the next 2 to go to the World Series. We only had 11 base runners today. That is not enough. 7 hits, 4 walks. That's not great. But we capitalized with guys on base. Arozarena, Teal, and 2 home runs for Brian Ramos. Drew Thorpe and Spencer Schwellenbach were iffy, but the bullpen was great. Brito was excellent, did not allow a base runner. Soriano did not allow a base runner. Romero lets up the early triple, but retires 3 in a row. Texas had 11 hits and 2 walks. They did a good job early in the game of driving guys in, but not late. Strider was not the best. Their bullpen honestly was pretty good, though. They only allowed 2 base runners, but those ended up being the 2 guys who scored with the homer by Ramos, which won us the game. So we're going to travel into Game 6. Back in Chicago, where this place will be rocking. The White Sox are looking to make it back to the World Series for the 2nd time in 3 years. I know it says Schwellenbach's pitching. Obviously, he's not. He just pitched in Game 5. But it'll be the 2 aces. Sandy Alcantara versus Noah Schultz. Iron sharpens iron. Gladiator versus gladiator. Game 5 was largely about offense, at least in terms of scoring. Game 6 might be a little bit different. We might see more of a pitching duel. But the White Sox have a chance to go back to the World Series. All we've got to do is win one of these next 2 games. But ideally, I'd like to get the job done here. Let's not lead for a stressful Game 7. Let's finish it now. Let's get an extra day off going into the World Series. Let's not worry about a winner-take-all game without Noah Schultz available. But they've got Sandy Alcantara, who won the Cy Young this year. He was arguably the best pitcher on the planet. Schultz is good, but he's no Sandy. So I would say the Rangers probably had the advantage in terms of the pitching matchup, in terms of pure talent. But I think Noah Schultz matches up well with the Rangers lineup because Texas is largely built around left-handed hitting. They are stacking their lefties up, and even with it being a lefty on the mound in Noah Schultz, that's not really going to stop them because they don't really have a choice. If anything, they're actually going to stack their lefties even more, which, again, I don't really know why. I feel like there's a better job of doing it. 7 of the 9 guys for them are lefties. So we'll see how this goes. It'll be interesting. Here's Noah Schultz. He's pitched in 2 postseason games. Game 1 against Detroit. Game 2 against Texas. Both of which we won, and Schultz was a big reason for that. 12 innings, 3 ERA, .92 whip. Got the win in both, and he's looking to get another one here to send us back to the World Series where either the Cubs or the Dodgers await. Corey Seager with 2 away. Up the middle, gets by Barney Wagner for a single into center. I'm thinking about benching Justin Crawford. I know I mentioned it in the last episode, but with the injury to Edgar Quero, we kind of have to play him. We don't have as many choices, and he is very much a good defender, even though the offense has been pitiful. Here's Bazzana. Pops it into foul territory. Cam Smith makes the play. So a pretty good inning for Noah Schultz. He lets up 1 single, but no further damage done. We'll go to the bottom of the first. We will take a look at the Cy Young winner, Sandy Alcantara, who we saw in Game 1 of this series, and it was mostly impressive. He pitched a pretty good game, I think. 3.78 ERA, 1.26 whip in 3 postseason outings. The 3-time Cy Young winner, 2022, 29, and 31. Randy Arozarena gets us started at a very productive Game 5, which included a homer. He singles into right, so we will start the inning with a base runner. And that's what you got to do against a guy like Sandy Alcantara, who's this good. Get guys on. Give your stars, like Kyle Teal, a chance to do some damage, although he will not here. He goes down on the circle change. Teal, of course, had the pivotal 3-run homer that we would not have won the game without. Shane Schmidt, that one comes in at 100. Sandy's like 35 years old, and he is still throwing as hard as ever. I mean, this guy is a cyborg. Ramos pops it up. This one should be easy for Josh Naylor in foul territory. He makes the play. So pretty similar first innings both ways. Both teams get hits, but nothing more. Scoreless going into the second. We'll see if either team will get rolling in this inning. Middle of the order, 5, 6, 7. Due up for Texas. As it's Will Benson with 2 away. He's hitting a little bit lower because of the lefty. This one grounded to short. Wagner makes the play. Throw to first is a close one, but in time. A 1-2-3 inning for Noah Schultz. So far, so good for the talented southpaw. We will move into the bottom of the second, see if the White Sox offense can get rolling. Mike Trout gets the start, DHing today. 3-2. Got him looking on the circle change. Good pitch by Sandy Alcantara. Justin Crawford now up for Chicago. 3-2. Swing into this. On the outside, sinker. Good work by Sandy. So far, so good for both pitchers. Another 1-2-3 inning as we move into the third now. It's Wyatt Langford back to the top with Texas. 1-2 for Langford. Swing and a miss. Sweeper in the dirt. Great pitch by Noah Schultz. He looks awesome so far in this game. He's been awesome all postseason. Braden Montgomery leads off the bottom of the third. He hits it well into right. Benson at the wall. It is gone. No, it's caught. Faked you guys out there. Had to get you a little excited. That'll bring up Barney Wagner now. He's behind 1-2. Wagner's done a pretty good job throughout the postseason, largely in the 9-hole. But he goes down on the sinker. Good pitch by Sandy Alcantara. Here's a Rosarena with 2 away. 2-2 count into center. Should be very catchable for Gerard, who makes the play. And it has been an all-out war between these two pitchers. Sandy Alcantara and Noah Schultz, the two aces. I said there's a chance it's a pitching duel, and that's exactly what it's been so far. The White Sox only with 1 hit. The Rangers only with 1 hit. We'll move into the fourth. Corey Seager now. He sends this one well into left. Rosarena chases after. At the track, at the wall. It is caught. Neither team has gotten anybody on base since the first inning. I mean, it has been tough sledding. Travis Bazzana looks to change the fortunes, and he's got a chance to. Smith deflects it, and there will not be a play at first. He's safe. So finally, a base runner. The first one in over 2 innings. But Travis Bazzana is aboard. We'll see if Texas can try to do some damage with this. Full count. Naylor draws a walk, and things are now starting to get a little interesting. Noah Schultz has got to dig himself out of this one, as it's one of the 2 righties. Sebastian Walcott, the 2-1. Walcott into center. Crawford is after it. He's under it, and he'll make the catch. 4 shutty for Schultz. We'll move to the bottom of the fourth. We'll see if this is where our offense can get rolling. Much like Game 5, we're not getting guys on base. Unlike Game 5, we're not capitalizing. Because we're literally not getting anybody. We don't have anybody to capitalize with. 2 away for Brian Ramos. This one is going to be dribbled over to third. And the play is made for Texas. It's Collier, and it remains scoreless going into the fifth. I mean, something's got to give at some point, right? Bottom of the order, 7, 8, 9. Due up for Texas. We'll start with Will Benson. The 3-1 up the middle. Gets by Schultz, and it's in for a leadoff single. Given the lack of base runners that both teams have gotten today, there might not be that many opportunities to do some damage. So every time there's a base runner, got to try to make the most of it. Collier up the middle. Gets by Wagner for a single. And now there's 2 on with nobody out. Top of the order is coming close, so this is a really interesting chance here for the Rangers. Malcolm Moore gets a hold of this one. Middle fastball into right. That one is gone. An unlikely hero puts the Rangers ahead 3-0. I was worried about the top of the order coming up with Langford, Seager, maybe Bazzana. But it's Malcolm Moore, the backup catcher, getting the start today over Corey Lee. He's ironically better against lefties, even though he is one. And he shows why there as he launches it into the seats, but they're not done. Wyatt Langford down the right field line and fair. That one is a double with still nobody out. This has a chance to really flip over into a 180. But I want to keep Schultz in because they've got a bunch of lefties in a row. The problem is he's let up 5 base runners in a row. And look at Langford. He makes it over to third. Kyle Teal wasn't paying attention. So now all of a sudden, there's first and third. At this point, we've got to yank Noah Schultz. The problem is, who are we going to bring in? Because I want it to be a lefty. Jose A. Ferrer is not a good clutch pitcher. So that really only leaves us with one choice. We're going to have to get creative. JoJo Romero is coming out of the bullpen here in the 5th inning. The first reliever to enter the game for Chicago. I know he's the closer, but given that there's 2 guys on and they've got all these lefties due up, specifically Seager and Bazana, who are the next 2, we cannot let this lead get bigger. So we have to bring in a star lefty. Seager on the ground. This should be 2, and it is. I decided to go for the double play rather than the out at home. It was a split bang-bang decision. Could have gone either way, but now we at least get the 2 outs, even though they had a run. Bazana grounds it to third. Cam Smith makes the play. That inning went pretty horribly. They get 4. But JoJo only had to play against 2 batters. He threw like 5 pitches. So we should be able to keep him in for the 6th. But I also don't want to use him too much, given that a Game 7 is a lot more likely than it was 5 minutes ago. And we might need him for a Game 7. So an interesting dilemma as Cam Smith strikes out. Mike Trout draws a walk. Finally, a base runner. First walk of the game. First base runner since Randy Arozarena, who was the leadoff hitter. Crawford now into center, at the track, at the wall. It's caught for the second out of the inning by Girard. That one was close. We've had a few close ones in this game. Braden Montgomery had a close one last time. So this time he'll make sure it gets out of here. No questions about this one. Flips the bat into left center. 4-13, we've got a game. First home run of the postseason for BMO. And boy, is it a big one. We needed to get some damage here with Texas getting the 4. We cut the lead in half and bring it within 2. Still some work to do, but we give ourselves new life. And again, we're still within striking distance. That was the key in Game 5. The Rangers had a 3-run lead, but we were close enough to where we could come back. Barney Wagner into right center. That one is not hit well enough as it is caught. So an interesting 5th inning. It was a pitching duel through 4, and then the offense exploded. Rangers get 4. Sox answer with 2 of their own, courteous of a Braden Montgomery 2-run homer, taking advantage of the extra playing time with no Edgar Caro in the lineup as we will move into the 6th. So we want to be cautious with how we utilize JoJo Romero. I don't want to overdo it with him because I know we're going to need him. That one gets away, not even close. It's a walk for Naylor. I know they've got a few more lefties due up after Sebastian Walcott, but I'm going to take JoJo Romero out of the game now. Given the possibility of the Game 7, we will need him. If there's not a Game 7, then that's great. That means we won. But we would need him then in the World Series against the Cubs or the Dodgers. So I just don't want to put too much on his plate. We're going to go with Justin Slayton. We haven't really used him a lot against Texas, but he's been really good in the postseason so far. 4 scoreless innings. As it's Sebastian Walcott up 2-2. This one in the dirt. Schmidt, Wagner, back to first. Slayton in time! I kind of thought he was safe. I'm not complaining. It's a 3-6-1 double play. Let's see the replay. Oh, we're not going to see it. Okay, then. Well, I'll just take the umpire's word because it helps us. Benson 1-2. Sharp liner to second. Ramos off the bounce makes the throw. Good job by Justin Slayton. He gets through the inning, only seen 2 batters. I think the White Sox have a really interesting opportunity because we've got the top of the order up. I imagine they're going to take Sandy Alcantara out of the game after allowing the homer. So we're able to probably build some momentum. I feel a lot more confident against the Rangers bullpen than I do versus Sandy. Now, Texas does have some good arms in the pen, but they are not 3-time Cy Young winners. So it's Kevin Ginkel, the first out for the Rangers, 3.38 ERA and 5 1/3 postseason innings. We will start with Randy Arozarena, one of the all-time postseason legends of the sport, who's in the midst of another strong one. He goes down looking on the low fastball. Good pitch by Ginkel. Kyle Teal's been quiet today. I feel like he's due for one. There we go. Teal into right. That one is gone, and the lead is within 1. Home run number 6 for Kyle Teal. He's really starting to get close to uncharted territory. I think there's only one catcher in postseason history with more than 6 home runs in a single postseason, And you guessed it, folks. That guy's Kyle Teal. He's the only one who's done it. And he's got a chance to do it again. That'll bring up Brian Ramos. Count is full with 2 away. And Ramos sends that one into right, in between the first and the second baseman for a single. The offense has really come alive these last 2 innings. I mean, they were dull for 4 innings. We're getting a couple homers, a couple other solidly hit balls. How about another? Cam Smith into center for a hit. And now we've got a really interesting opportunity. Tying runs at second. Go-ahead run is at first. Another big hit or two, and all of a sudden the momentum is all ours. 3-2. Trout hits it high into center. I don't think that'll be enough, as this one should be caught, and it will by Robbie Gerard. Kyle Teal homers again, though. That's 15 career postseason homers for Teal. That's got to be probably top 10 all time, at least top 20. And this is only his second postseason ever, because remember, he didn't play last year. That is remarkable. So I just did a little research. I'll give you some more information about the company Kyle Teal is with in a moment. We'll start, though, with the top of the 7th, Langford into right, caught by Montgomery. So Teal's 15 postseason homers puts him tied for 23rd all-time in postseason history with Jason Worth and Babe Ruth. Not a bad group to be with. He leads all catchers all-time, and pretty much all the guys above him have played somewhere between 60 and, 100-some postseason games. Kyle Teal's probably played, between 30 and 40. The only guy who's close to that in terms of games played is Babe Ruth at 41. So when you're in the conversation of hitting home runs with Babe Ruth, not bad at all. Tanner Scott is in the game. He strikes out Justin Crawford, who goes down looking. Crawford now 3 for 30 this postseason. That is not good. Barney Wagner swings at a pitch inside. Walcott under it. He makes the play. So even though we're feeling kind of good with the 2 big homers, we're still losing. I mean, we're still down through 7 innings. We don't exactly have a lot of time left. 4-3 going into the 8th with just 5 hits to show for it, as Jose A. Ferrer is in. I do want to utilize Ferrer with the Rangers. I just didn't want him pitching in the 5th inning in a clutch spot because his clutch rating is in like the 30s, which is pretty horrendous. But in a low leverage spot, yeah, he's perfect. Although he walks Corey Seager, so not exactly a great start. That'll bring up Travis Bazzana, our kryptonite, who does it again. If it's fair, it is gone, and that one is out of here. He saw Kyle Teal hit his major league leading 6th home run of the postseason, so he's like, yeah, well, you can do, I can do better, buddy. 6 home runs for Travis Bazzana. The Rangers lead 6-3. We're going to yank Ferrer out of the game immediately. Joey Smith will replace him as he strikes out Josh Naylor on the 2-seam fastball. Now it's Walcott, 1-2, swing and a miss again on the 2-seamer. Good work there by Smith. Rangers, though, add to the lead. They're up by 3 with the homer by Bazzana. Can he please sign with an NL team this offseason? I'm sick of this. I can't do it anymore. Carlos Hernandez is in. He allowed the home run that lost the Rangers the game in Game 5. Kyle Teal looking for home run number 16. It's got a chance at the wall. It's caught. Wow, what a play. Gerard, he runs into the wall, making the play. Teal knew he had it. Yeah, he was really close. Looking to, again, put himself in even more rare air with his postseason career. As Shane Schmidt draws a walk. Let's start a little 2-out rally. Let's stack some base runners and give a guy an opportunity for a big hit. So they're going to go to the bullpen with Justin Martinez, who I believe is their best reliever. So I'm not thrilled that they put him in here because I think this is smart. 1-2 for Brian Ramos, and that one is outside. Big opportunity for Ramos, who homered twice in Game 5. He hit the big one, but overall he hasn't been that impressive in this series otherwise. 2-2, low and inside, so now the count is full. We'll certainly take a walk here. With Cam Smith on deck, that's the kind of guy I want to give a big opportunity to because other than Randy and Teal, I would argue he's our best hitter. Ramos does draw a walk, good at bat, and he was behind 1-2 as well. So we give Cam Smith a big opportunity. In the ALCS, he's 9 for 4 with 3 homers and 7 RBIs. He's been great. And I said it in the last game with a guy like Kyle Teal. Big-time players make big-time plays when the lights shine the brightest. Cam Smith gets a hold of it! Into left center! We're tied! 6-6! 428! 4th home run of the postseason. And again, one swing of the bat can completely change the outlook of the series. Cam Smith has been legitimately one of the best players in the league since the month of May. In the postseason, he's been awesome. Other than Randy and Teal, and maybe he has been better than Randy this postseason. I mean, it's close. They've both been awesome. But this is one of, if not our biggest swings yet. With 2 away, we were down by 3. We weren't looking too hot. Credit to Shane Schmidt and Brian Ramos. They drew walks after our 2 stars, Randy and Teal, came up short. I want to give our stars opportunities with guys on base because I know they can deliver. And Cam Smith, who's delivered all year, who's delivered all October, does it again. Full count for Trout, working a really long at bat. Hits it well into left. It's caught by Langford. But we've got ourselves a game, folks. Cam Smith, 3-run shot to tie it with 2 away. Justin Martinez, one of the better relievers in baseball, allows the homer, bringing us into the 9th. Remember, though, we don't have JoJo Romero available. There's only one lefty left, and that's Jagger Haynes, who has not pitched in the postseason. If this game, or I guess if this series goes to a Game 7, we're going to need him because we're going to need lefties. So I want to get him at least loose. Now, getting a guy loose in a tie game in the top of the 9th seems a little bit crazy, I know. But I'm really confident in him because I think he's going to be super energized. It's not like he hasn't thrown the last few weeks. He's tossed a ton of bullpens. And I think since he hasn't pitched in a big game, his arm is ready. Strikes out Benson. Strikes out Collier. Why didn't he throw the ball? What was that? Kyle Teal didn't throw the ball. So now Collier's aboard, and Malcolm Moore sends this one into right. Are you kidding me? The Rangers are right back ahead. This game is unbelievable. Malcolm Moore, his 2nd home run of the game. This guy's their backup catcher, and he saved the season. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, and it's 8-6. I mean, what even is happening at this point? Here's Wyatt Langford, 2-2, swinging a miss. Again, I want to keep Haynes in because of all these lefties. Langford really was the one guy I was super worried about, so I'm glad we got that out. Now Gerard, this one over to first. Schmidt catches it off the fly. So the Rangers score 2, and even if Kyle Teal did throw the ball, they still would have gotten the 1 and taken the lead. But still, that was pretty brutal as Joel Payamps comes into the game. 7, 8, 9 hitters due up for Chicago. But that means Randy Arozarena is 4th and Kyle Teal is 5th. In order to win this game, we've got to get to Kyle Teal. That's the goal. So we've got to stack base runners. And in my opinion, bringing Richie Lindsey in, who also hasn't played yet this postseason, I think that's the best way to do it. As he strikes out on the slider, he replaces Justin Crawford. I know Richie Lindsey hasn't played, but Justin Crawford's been an automatic out. Braden Montgomery draws a walk. That's exactly what we need. Get guys on base. Barney Wagner, 1-2. Pops it into the air in left. Langford is after it'll make the play. So now that sends us to the top of the order. I know Randy Arozarena is very capable of changing this game with one swing. But for me, the goal is to get Kyle Teal up. Obviously, we would love a home run here. Duh. But the goal here is to get on base, give Kyle Teal an opportunity to win us the game, because I really think he can do it. Randy's ahead 2-1, and that one is in the zone for strike 2. White Sox down to their final strike. Payamps looking to win the game for the Rangers. The 2-2, that one is high and outside for ball 3, and the count is full. Teal, who homered earlier in the game back in the 6th inning, is on deck. The 3-2, tying run, Arozarena. This one is popped into the air. That's not going to be anywhere near enough. It could drop. It does not. Will Benson makes the catch, and the Rangers win Game 6 by a score of 8-6. And this series is going to a Game 7. Don't go anywhere. That's coming up in just a moment. So much like Game 5, it was back and forth, a lot of homers, but it is the Rangers this time who prevail. Malcolm Moore was the hero. They have to start him in Game 7, right? I get that Corey Lee has had a good postseason, and he played well himself in Game 5, but that would be inexcusable, not being able to get Malcolm Moore on the field. He's the reason why they won the game today. Homered twice, drove in 5, had the big homer in the 9th. And I guess in hindsight, even if Kyle Teal didn't, not throw the ball, we still would have lost. But that was weird. I don't know why MLB The Show did that. 6 hits, 4 walks. That's not enough. The exact same story of Game 5. We did not get enough base runners. When we got guys on, we capitalized. BMO homered. Teal homered. Cam Smith had the big one in the 8th. But we're not getting enough guys on base. And again, this is not sustainable. We're not going to score 6, 7 runs a game getting 10 guys on. Noah Schultz was good until the 5th, where everything completely unraveled. And then the back end of the bullpen kind of blew it in the 8th and the 9th. Ferrer allowed the big homer in the 8th inning. And then Haynes did in the 9th. It was the two lefties, ironically, in a lineup that's filled with them. Sandy Alcantara with a solid game. Bullpen really wasn't that good for the Rangers, but they were good enough to get the job done. So this series is going 7, and we are no stranger to win or go home games. This is the 7th postseason series of the franchise, and it's the 5th time we've got a winner take all. Luis Medina is on the bump. As I said, we're probably going to need Jagger Haynes. Ezra Valenzuela will be available. He has not pitched since Game 4, so if we need him, he'll be ready. I'm not going to put any kind of limit, though, on Medina. If he can give us 5, 6 innings, that would be great. If he struggles, we'll be aggressive. We'll take him out of the game early. But I've got confidence in him. He made the All-Star team this year. He was playing really well before he got hurt. He's only pitched in one postseason game, and sure, it didn't go well, but I believe in him. So Game 7 against the Rangers, this is for all the marbles. So much so that maybe it makes sense to give it its own episode. Wait, hold on a second. I'm getting a call from my lawyer. Yeah? Okay. Understood. All right, fair enough. Okay, my lawyer said I'm not allowed to lie and false advertise, and since I said going into the episode that this series we would go through the conclusion, including Game 7, my lawyer has instructed me that we go through Game 7 today, and I don't want to go to jail. So we're playing Game 7 right now. Luis Medina versus Kumar Rocker for a spot in the World Series. This is where legends are made. Medina's never really got much of a chance in the postseason, stuck with the Athletics and the Blue Jays, but he's got a chance to be the hero. Medina's only thrown one postseason game this year. It didn't go great. Game 3 against the Rangers, 4 innings, 4 runs. We ended up losing that game. That was the Corey Seager walk-off. But again, he had a career year, first-time All-Star. We gave up a lot for him at the trade deadline. Now's his chance to show why. Not exactly a great start. Wyatt Langford sends it into right. He's looking for 2. He's got 2. Leadoff double. The Rangers had their fastest runner in scoring position with nobody out. A golden opportunity with him now at third to strike early. Corey Seager sends this one into center. Crawford is after it, but that will be more than enough room for Wyatt Langford to score with no problem. A successful sacrifice, and the Rangers are on the board here in the first inning. It's 1-0. There was not a lot of action early in games offensively in either games 5 or 6. It was late in games where the offenses were getting rolling. So for the Rangers to set the tone and start quickly, that's a big deal. Bazana strikes out. So Medina allows the 1 hit. Ultimately, he scores. The Rangers are able to move him around and get Corey Seager to drive him home. So already some early run support for Kumar Rocker, the 2-time top 10 pick from Vanderbilt. He's pitched in 3 postseason games this year. Hasn't gone very well. His ERA is nearly at 9. His whip is nearly at 2. And he's got a record of 0-2. Rosarena will get us started. A big game player, and he strikes early with a single into center field. We need our stars to really play well. Rosarena, Teal, Cam Smith. I've moved up to the 3 slot today. 2 away now for Shane Schmidt, who's hitting cleanup. He goes down looking on the fastball. His average now below 200. Pretty good opening inning for Rocker. We'll move into the second. I'm not worried about Medina yet. He allowed the 1 run, but I'm going to give some faith in him and let him really get comfortable in this game. But again, if he allows a few base runners in a row, we might make a switch as Will Benson strikes out. Again, Ezra Valenzuela is going to be available today. Jagger Haynes will be available today as well, as Josh Naylor goes down on the circle change, swinging out of his shoes. And now it seems like Medina's starting to get into a little rhythm. 3 strikeouts in a row, has not a lot of base runners since Langford, who started the game, as now it's Walcott. 1-2. There's another! 12-6 in the dirt. Medina strikes out the side, and it remains 1-0. We'll go into the bottom of the second inning. We need the offense to have themselves a strong game. I'm confident in Medina, but we need some runs. Braden Montgomery crushes this ball into center. Homered in Game 6, looking for another, and he's got another! Gerard does not rob it. Braden Montgomery, back-to-back games with a homer, and we're tied at 1. Obviously, BMO's had his offensive struggles over the last few years, especially in the postseason. I wouldn't be surprised if these were his first 2 career home runs in the playoffs. But, man, this is a big one to tie it at 1. BMO's earning himself some playing time in the World Series if we get there over a guy like Justin Crawford, who has been, again, an automatic out. So Braden Montgomery ties the game at 1 as we move into the 3rd. Collier leads things off for the Rangers, the 1-2. Swings out of his shoes. This Texas offense is in a rut right now. That's 5 strikeouts in a row. At least 3 of these pitches are in the dirt. They are getting fooled by the dynamic breaking ball of Luis Medina. 2 away. Wyatt Langford, the only Ranger to get on base so far, and remember, he did score. Pops it into right, caught by Smith. Medina looks great right now. He's only let up 1 runner the whole game. 9 retired batters in a row with 5 strikeouts. Wow, what a take by Arozarena. That was clearly in the strike zone, but it's called ball 3. A chance to keep the at-bat going. The 3-2 for Randy. Swing and a miss. Ball does not lie, kids. Rocker, his 3rd strikeout of the game. And he's overall pitched a nice game. Allowed the homer to Braden Montgomery, but otherwise has been really solid. Kyle Teal is able to draw a walk, though. I wouldn't really want to pitch to Kyle Teal either in a Game 7. So that'll bring up Cam Smith at the big 3-run homer in Game 6 as he pops this one up into right. Benson is after it, and he will make the play. Tied at 1 going into the 4th. Both pitchers look good. And for Medina, I see no reason to take him out anytime soon if he continues to pitch at a fraction of this level. Gerard goes down on the circle change. To be quite frank, I had no clue what to expect with Luis Medina going into this game because we've never seen him on this stage. But clearly, the bright lights have not only not fazed him, but it's elevated him. 1-2 for Bazana. Got him looking on the 12-6. 12 retired batters in a row with 7 strikeouts. Luis Medina is pitching a hell of a game right now. But on the other side, so is Kumar Rocker. Although Shane Schmidt gets a hold of this one, into right. Sox take the lead. 368 for Shane Schmidt. His 3rd home run of the postseason. And look, Shane Schmidt is a guy who historically has struggled in his postseason career. All 3 years he's been here. But he just delivered a huge home run in Game 7 to put us ahead in a game that's been a pitching duel, where Luis Medina looks like he can go at this for a while. We might not need as many runs as the last 2 games, so to get a swing like that is a big one. Brian Ramos goes down on the fastball. Good pitch by Rocker, who's going to stay in the game. I think rightfully so. I think with how he's pitched today, he's earned the benefit of the doubt. Braden Montgomery draws a walk. Shout out to BMO. He continues to be an unsung hero for this team. Not just with the homers, but playing good all-around baseball. Justin Crawford with 2 away, flies it into left field. You'll never guess. He's out. I don't believe it, as it's caught by Wyatt Langford. So Shane Schmidt puts us ahead 2-1. We'll move into the 5th. Here's a look at Medina's numbers side by side with Rocker. Since allowing the leadoff double to Wyatt Langford, Medina has retired 12 batters in a row. He has struck out 7 of them. This is a great Rangers lineup, and they all look clueless against his breaking ball. Will Benson gets his start in the 5th. Swinging a miss on the 4-seamer. That's 8. With how good the off-speed stuff has been, Medina's going to try to catch these guys a little bit off guard, too, with the fastball. Josh Naylor now behind 1-2. Got him looking on the circle change. I mean, this is unbelievable. He's using all 5 of his pitches and is dominating these guys all in very different ways. The 2-2 for Walcott. Got him looking again. 2-seam fastball up and out. 10 punch-outs through 5 innings for Luis Medina. We're witnessing something special right now. The Rangers will go to the pen. Kumar Rocker's day is done. Kevin Kelly will replace him. He's been awesome this postseason run, 7 scoreless. With 1 away, we go back to the top. Arozarena goes down on the sweeper. Great pitch by Kevin Kelly. I mean, we've seen the Rangers look stupid with the breaking balls. Now here's Arozarena getting fooled. Kyle Teal now 2-2, and he sends this one well into right. Back at the track is Benson. He makes the catch. 1-2-3 inning for Kelly through 5. The White Sox had the lead here in Game 7 of the ALCS with a spot in the World Series of 2031 on the line. The Rangers made it the first 3 seasons of the series, have not gotten there since. The White Sox, of course, did 2 years ago back in Season 5. Medina against Corey Lee. Another punch out. That's 11. And we're just starting the 6th inning. Wyatt Langford, 2-1. Pops it up. Teal is under it. And he will make the catch. 18 batters retired in a row for Luis Medina. The top of the 1st inning. Wyatt Langford, the first batter of the game. That's the last time they've gotten someone on base. And in hindsight, it's a miracle that they scored him. Bottom 6, Cam Smith draws a walk. If we can add a couple more runs, that would be big. Because as much as Medina's pitching well, naturally he's going to get tired, and we may have to take him out at some point. Shane Schmidt goes down on the sinker, unable to get that 2nd homer. Good pitch by Kelly, who stays in the game, and rightfully so. He's looking great. One away here for Brian Ramos, 2-2. Got him looking on the cutter. Our offense hasn't been good enough. In the biggest game of the year, we had 3 hits. Sure, 2 of them are homers, and we're winning, but the offense is not playing that well. Here's Schneemann, though, looking to change that into right center. Gerard at the track makes the play. How many balls are we going to get to the warning track? It feels like there's been about 10 today. Still 2-1 with 3 innings to go. Luis Medina not showing any signs of slowing down. We're keeping him in the game. Corey Seager with 1 away here in the top of the 7th. Behind in the count, 1-2. Seager bloops this one into right, over the glove of Ramos. A 66-mile-an-hour single is the play that ends the streak. Medina had retired 19 in a row. The Rangers get their first base runner since the top of the 1st. And this game's still wide open for them. They're only down by 1, and look who's up. Travis Bazzana, 1-1. That was a good pitch to swing at. Why didn't he take it? Bazzana now down 1-2. This feels like the most pivotal at-bat of the series so far. Swing and a miss on the 2-seamer. Biggest game of the year. Bazzana today. Strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. It's been a tough one for the standout second baseman. Will Benson, strikeout on the high fastball. 7 innings for Luis Medina. He's at about 100 pitches. Now, we're not going to need Jagger Haynes or Ezra Valenzuela at this point. We've got some guys getting loose in the bullpen. We want to be smart. But I think he can keep going. As it'll be Joel Payamps in for Texas in the bottom of the 7th. 9 innings, 2 earned. He's pitched well as we take a look at the stat line. 7 innings, 2 hits, no walks, 1 run, 13 Ks. That is one of the dominant postseason pitching outings, really ever, from Medina. As Barney Wagner strikes out, that was not a good pitch. Payamps gets through the 7th quickly. We will travel into the 8th. Medina is at 107. He has left it all out there. He is running out of gas. The 3-2 for Josh Naylor. 6, 7, 8 due up. Got him looking again. 14 strikeouts for Luis Medina. Now it's Sebastian Walcott. This is pitch 112 for Medina. This one hit weakly, but it's got a chance. Ramos blocks it, and Walcott is safe at first. Just the 3rd hit of the game for Texas. And other than the hit by Langford in the 1st, neither of the other 2 were hit very hard. That'll bring up Cam Collier now. The 2-1. Grounds it to first. Schmidt on the ground. Looking to turn 2. Schneemann back to Schmidt. No, he's safe! An inning-saving hustle by Collier. If Shane Schmidt doesn't lose his balance, that's a double play because it took him longer to throw the ball to second. So the inning stays alive for Corey Lee, who swings and misses at the fastball. That pitch wasn't even close. Now Medina looking to get through the 8th. This will be pitch number 120. The 1-2. That one is inside. Lee has to jump out of the way. Is there any chance Medina can complete the whole game? Because, I mean, he is running out of gas. I don't know how much more he can give us. He has left it all out there. 2-2. That pitch is low and in the dirt. Collier for second. He's safe. Wow, that was close. So now the Rangers have a runner in scoring position, and a base hit would tie the game. With a full count, Collier would have been running anyway. That feels like kind of a stupid decision to steal it, but it does move him along a little bit, so I guess it works out. Now the count is full. 3-2 for Corey Lee. Fouls off the fastball. That was close. He keeps the at-bat going. Luis Medina, his velo's starting to drop a little bit. I mean, he is running on fumes and adrenaline at this point. That one hits him! So Lee reaches base. I think we've got to take Medina out of the game. I mean, he is out of gas. The fans are going to give him a well-deserved standing ovation one of the all-time dominant postseason pitching performances tonight by Luis Medina. In Game 7, he throws 7 2/3 innings, only allows 4 base runners, strikes out 14 with just 1 run scoring so far. Because George Soriano's got to get us out of this jam. Soriano was one of the best relievers on the planet this year. I believe in him to get out of the jam. I know the ERA in the postseason is kind of high, but his whip is lower than 1. Top of the order up for the Rangers. It'll start with Wyatt Langford, the only Ranger to score today. 3-2. Langford down the line and fair. It gets by Wagner. Texas ties it at 2. That's Collier. And Collier's hustle on the ground ball that kept the inning going is the reason why they're even in this position to begin with. Now, the game is knotted up. The go-ahead run is in scoring position. What an opportunity for Robbie Gerard from the Summit League to Game 7 of the ALCS as this one is grounded to third. Wagner makes the play. Throw to first is in time. Texas does not take the lead, but they do tie it. Langford with an RBI. It's 2-2. Only 7 hits in this game as we move into the bottom of the 8th. I think both offenses have a chance to get something here. The top of the order, 1, 2, 3, is up for the White Sox as Carlos Hernandez is in. For the Rangers, it's 3, 4, and 5, and that starts with Seager and Bazana. So all the best offensive players are due up right now. Arozarena, back up the middle, base hit! And Chicago starts the inning with a runner. Both Hernandez and Bazana each had good chances to get it, but neither of them do. So Randy is aboard, and guess who's up? Kyle Teel. He's been quiet tonight. 0 for 2, a walk, and a couple of strikeouts. He's due. Although Hernandez probably does not want to give him anything good, as that one is low, and the count is full. The go-ahead run at first base with nobody out. The 3-2. Teel, back up the middle. It's caught by Walcott for the first out of the inning, and Rosarena quickly retreats. Cam Smith, big homer in the 8th of the last game. Can we get another? No, but we'll take that. It's a single into left. The White Sox had 3 hits going into the inning. So, I mean, really, it's just refreshing to see us get base hits to begin with. First and second, 1 away. They're going to yank Hernandez. He has struggled in high leverage spots. I mean, he was the one who led up the homer to begin with in Game 5 to Brian Ramos. If he gets that out, Texas is probably in the World Series right now. Looked a little shaky in Game 6 as well late, although he's not the one who allowed the homer to Cam Smith. But I don't get why they would have brought him in with a guy like Tanner Scott readily available in the bullpen. They'll right their wrongs. They will bring in Scott here, looking to keep the game tied at 2. Schmidt, swing and a miss. 100 up and in for the second out of the inning. And now we're going to bring Mike Trout in off the bench. I love Brian Ramos. He had 2 home runs in Game 5, but he's not great against lefties. Mike Trout is better. I know Trout's had a rough postseason. He's been a complete non-factor against the Rangers. He's due for a big hit. That one is in for strike 2 at 40 years old. Trout was so clutch against the Tigers with 2 big homers in Games 2 and 3. Why not one here? He goes down on the fastball. I was trying to aura farm it and speak it into existence, but it didn't work out. Major credit to Tanner Scott. That was ballsy. With 2 runners on base, he strikes out a pair, gets out of it, and we'll move it in the 9th. Game still tied. As I mentioned, we're going to need Jojo Romero in Game 7. That's why we limited him in Game 6. Well, here he is. With 1 away, it's Travis Bazana. Count is full. He struck out 3 times today. That's a walk. So Bazana's on. The go-ahead runner is aboard for the Rangers. They've got a lot of lefties up, though. I think JoJo is in a good spot with these matchups. And he already got Corey Seager out, who hit the big homer back in Game 3. Bazana for second. The throw from Teel is in time! Wow! That is huge. I thought in real time he was clearly safe. Let's look at this again, because that was really close. That is gigantic, though. It gets a runner out of scoring position. Is he not clearly safe by a mile? That wasn't even close. So let's look at an even closer angle, because I thought that showed that he was clear as day safe. But as you can see right here, Schneemann does a great job of quickly applying the tag right now. His mitt and his fingers on his right hand are above the base, but they're not touching the base. Major credit to the second base umpire for noticing that and correctly making the call. That was a really close one. That is as close as it gets, but it changes the inning because now there's 2 outs and now there's nobody on. The 2-2 for Will Benson. This one is grounded sharply to short. Schneemann makes the play. Throw to first is in time. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth, tied at 2, with a chance to walk it off and go to the World Series. How cool is that? 6, 7, 8. Schneemann, Bimo, Crawford. Due up. Maybe not exactly the 3 I would handpick, but we'll roll with it. Daniel Schneemann was the hero last year against the Rangers, and he might have been the hero again tonight with the big tag in the top half and the big single in the bottom half. I don't know if Schneemann's gotten a base hit in this series, but he chose the right time to finally get one. Montgomery. This one is grounded to second. They will only get 1. So we move the runner to second, and now Schneemann is in scoring position. We have to hit Justin Crawford here because we don't exactly have any other choices. Romeo Sanabria is the last guy left on the bench, and, well, we kind of need him in case Kyle Teal, explodes or something. Who else is going to catch? So by default, it is Crawford, the 2-2. That one is high. We'll take a walk here. Honestly, the Rangers should walk him anyway because it sets up a force out at every base. 3-2. That one is grounded to second. I guess that's a little better than a walk because now there's 2 outs. Remember how in Game 6, the goal in the 9th inning was to get to Kyle Teal? Well, it feels really similar because Randy Arozarena is on deck and Kyle Teal is in the hole. Let's give one of those 2 guys a chance to win the game in this inning. It will not be against Tanner Scott. With Barney Wagner and his 99 contact rating against lefties, they don't want to deal with that. So they will go to the bullpen, and they will bring in Kevin Ginkel. Barney Wagner, the former Rookie of the Year in his 2nd season from the University of Texas, hailing from the Netherlands. Base hit, probably sends us to the World Series. He's 0 for 3 today. Draws a walk. That works. So we do get Randy out. That was the goal. Randy Arozarena is no stranger to the big moment. He's played in the World Series, well, technically 3 times, but he was injured for one of them, so he didn't play. But he's a 2-time champ with the Phillies, looking to make it back now with Chicago. The 1-1, that one is up and in for ball 2 with Kyle Teal on deck. The winning run is at second base. It's Daniel Schneemann with Kevin Ginkel on the bump. The 2-1 for Randy looking for his 3rd hit. This one is fouled down the first base line. The Rangers looking to send this game to extras. Randy, not a great clutch hitter, only a 62 clutch rating. The 2-2 with 2 away and 2 on. This one is fouled back. Good job by Randy to keep the at-bat and thus the inning going. The Rangers looking to extend the series a little bit longer into extras here in Game 7. The 2-2. Up the middle. It's going to be close. Gets by Walcott. Let's go. Let's keep it moving. Schneemann to the plate. He's safe. And the White Sox walk it off. We're going back to the World Series. Randy Arozarena is the hero with a 2-strike, 2-out single to win it. He didn't hit the ball that hard. I thought Walcott was going to make the play, but it got by him into the outfield. Schneemann scores the winning run, and he made maybe the play of the game earlier with the tag on Bazana stealing in the top of the 9th. The 2031 American League champions, the Chicago White Sox, win the pennant for the 2nd time in 3 years. And after losing to the Phillies 2 years ago in the World Series, we will get another chance. It takes us 7 games again versus the Rangers, who always give us a really exciting battle, but we get the job done when it matters the most. And we're going back to the World Series once again. Luis Medina, the star of the show tonight, 7 2/3 innings, strikes out 14 batters. He does not get the win. That's Jojo Romero, but he is the player of the game. The offense was not great, but they were clutch when they needed to. We got a bunch of base runners late. Randy capitalized with the single. 7 hits, 4 walks. Braden Montgomery homered. Shane Schmidt homered in the 2nd and 4th innings, respectively. But again, the MVP of the game was Luis Medina by far. 7 2/3, 3 hits, no walks. Well, technically 1, but it was a hit by pitch. 14 strikeouts. He allowed 2 earned runs. Good job by the bullpen. Soriano, I guess. I mean, he technically allowed the tying run. But really, Jojo Romero in the 9th, getting us the win. The Rangers offense, which was really good over the last 2 games, not very good today. Only 4 hits. So we've won the ALCS, and we've got the Cubs in the World Series. A Battle of Chicago. Wow, that's really cool. the 2 number 1 seeds. The Cubs were the only team who had a better record than us this year, so that means Chicago, or should I say the Cubs, will have home field advantage. That's going to be really interesting, though, with the travel, because the 2 stadiums are not that far apart. It's not exactly going to be a long plane ride for everybody. So I feel like everybody's going to be super energized, and it's going to create for some really good baseball, aside from the fact that these were the 2 best teams in the league this year. Although, like us, it wasn't easy for the Cubs in the postseason. They needed 5 to get by San Diego in the first series. They needed 6 to get by the Dodgers. They were down 2-1 before winning Game 4, 17-0. And that ultimately was their momentum boost to win the next 2 games and make it back to the World Series for the first time since 2016. They didn't have like one dominant inning, but they scored in 6 of the 9 frames, and then they won the next 2. The Dodgers offense, again, coming up short as they do just about every year. The Cubs won 101 games. They won the division comfortably with weeks to go. Jace Young looked like a disappointment as a first-round pick. Now he has an OPS over 1,000, one of the best hitters in baseball. Kevin Alcantara, Willie Aguila, Pete Alonso, Colton Cowser. They don't have a single player on their roster in the 90s. Yet, this is a really well-rounded group. They go 5 deep in the rotation. They feel really good about this top 4. And you have Cade Horton as well if you need him. The bullpen is really, really strong too. So maybe the Cubs lack the star power that, say a team like the Dodgers has. But they are as well-equipped and well-rounded as a roster as it gets. And they are quite healthy. Ben Kerdna started for them most of the year. He tore his rotator cuff, but I don't think he's one of their better starters. Jakob Caffrey's a good player. He was playing really well, but he's been out since May. So the Cubs have been without him for a while. As for us, Waldo's not going to come back. Grant Holmes will not come back. Edgar Caro's not on the injured list. He will 1,000% play at some point during the World Series, but it's a question of when. Will he be available for the start, or are we going to have to wait a few games? Ezra Valenzuela and Ryan Nelson on the bump for Game 1. We will start the World Series in the next episode. I know it was a long one, but a really fun one today. Some great games finished off by a walk-off by Randy Arozarena. That'll wrap it up. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. World Series starting next episode versus the Cubbies. Peace out.